Recording in progress.
Hey, John, we're a few minutes early, so what I'll do is like I normally do on our Zooms, I've got a couple of videos of David Schmidt talking about the different products. And as people come in, I'll let that play in the background there before we get started.
Out the concept behind Alvida, and of course, we are going to be focusing in on the eye cream and what it contains and some of the properties, and of course, some of the benefits that you can expect from this. And this is very.
Hey, John, are you able to hear that video as it plays? Or Giza, maybe if you could tell me if y'all can hear that, because I want that to play while we wait for people to come in.
Very consistent with the overall identity of Lifewave, because we're not just interested in cosmetic appearance. Of course, we want everything foundationally to be about health. And for that to start, of course, from the inside. So in looking at this, and even in looking at a product like an eye cream, we do want to ask the basic premise of why are people aging? And if we can understand why the skin ages, we can approach it from the perspective of let's provide the skin with nutrition and let's protect the skin so we can have a more youthful appearance. So we're going to approach it from that perspective. So we're getting in now since 2015 is when we first introduced Alvida, and it was based on this basic concept that what we wanted to do was use a path to reduce the oxidative and inflammatory stress on the skin, and then use the topicals to provide nutrition for the skin and improve hydration and reduce the appearance of lines and wrinkles, stimulate production of hyaluronic acid, stimulate production of collagen, and do it this way. So that is our fundamental approach. Now, with the eye cream, since X39 is our flagship product, it only made sense, since there's so much information in our community about copper peptide, that we include copper peptide in this formula. And not surprisingly, copper peptide has been around for a few decades now in skincare. So since its discovery by Dr. Lauren Picard, it has been principally used as a cosmetic material. But of course, we're going to do something different with our eye cream as compared to other products that have been on the market. So this is our beautiful Alvida eye cream packaging, which of course is consistent with our branding. And the first thing that you're going to notice about the product when you use it is that it's blue, and then that is in keeping with the color of copper peptide. So copper peptide its key benefit in the human body, which is why X39 has been so popular, is that we know it is going to reset thousands of genes to a more youthful state. So this is not simply about just improving hydration, improving collagen. This is about creating more youthful skin. So to me, that would be the key benefit as to why we want to include GHKCU, this particular form of copper peptide. But in skincare studies, one of the key benefits is that copper peptide is indeed shown to support production of collagen. Now, there are many third-party studies that you can go to look at some of the benefits of copper peptide as it relates to the skin. So this particular study that we see here on copper peptide, this was performed by Dr. Lauren Picard. If you click on that link below, you can pull up the study. And one of the things that you'll see is that there are references to copper peptide improving the overall appearance of the skin, improving firmness, elasticity, clarity, and of course, reducing the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles, and actually also improving the very structure of the skin. So this is really every type of benefit that you might want to have in a skincare product you can get from copper peptide. So that's a key reason to include it. So we hired a very well-known laboratory as a third party to conduct a clinical study on the Alvida eye cream. And we performed this study with over 50 people, and they were between the ages of 49 and 70. It was also a 6-week study where we looked at taking a baseline reading and then looking at results after 3 weeks and 6 weeks of use. And these were the results that we saw both immediately and then after a 6-week period of time. Consistent with the benefits of copper peptide, we saw an improvement in skin elasticity. This is important. Let's actually talk about this because it's often overlooked. As we age, and as we see aging in the skin, there is a phenomena called cross-linking. And you can do a very simple test. What you do is you take your hand, you put it down on a flat surface like a kitchen table or a desk, and then you grab some skin and then you pinch up. And then what you want to do is see how much time does it take for the skin to relax. So this is going to be a measure of the elasticity of the skin. So if you do that skin pinch test on someone that's young, you're going to see that the skin bounces back very, very quickly. If you take someone that hasn't taken care of themselves, they're 70 or 80 years old, and you do that same test, you're going to see the skin, after you pull it up, it goes back very, very slowly. Well, this is a measure of the elasticity of the skin. And needless to say, what we're looking at here is a very simplistic measure of the collagen and elastin content in the skin, which is going to be very closely associated with the age of the skin. So when we're improving skin elasticity, this is not just a good thing from a cosmetic perspective, but it's also a great thing because it's a measure of revitalizing the skin, getting the skin to be more useful. Of course, also associated.
All right, guys and girls. I have a little bit of both here. Anyway, I don't have a super good internet signal here where I'm at. So if I have to drop the video so it doesn't do so much lagging, we'll end up doing that. John, is there a particular direction you would like to go in?
Well, yes, the Alvida skincare products is the direction we'd like to go tonight. Right.
Okay, Absolutely. And I am going to get into a couple of others because I've been discovering by looking at the studies that David Schmidt does that we are definitely seeing. I'm going to close my video so I can show you guys this a little bit better here. This video here, for example, on Alvida, this just came out. That's David Schmidt, the CEO and founder who develops all these products there. They put this out a month ago, and I will post this on our Facebook page called Lifewave, where you can look it up easily too by just the name of it, Alvida. I just put in David Schmidt Alvida, and or any product from Lifewave. If you put David Schmidt's name in there and then the product, he's normally done some form of a webinar on the product, the science behind it, how they did the studies. And that's, to me, the real important information behind that. When I saw it as a cream, I'm just thinking, okay, well, it's just a cream. I didn't realize that, it took him 3 years to develop this cream in order to make it really to enhance the elasticity of the skin. And if you notice, though, he talked about X39 being the foundational patch in there as well. And the reason being, Alvida, they have the Alvida patch, they have the Alvida cream now, but the thing is when you're dealing with the X39, which that also stimulates the copper peptide in our body, just like the Alvida does. But in that case there, the X39s, when that copper peptide is stimulated, there's two types of copper peptides. But when the one that is stimulated that creates our stem cells to become active, that is, you really need that to go with Alvida, if that's the best way to put it, because at the age of 60 and above, we're no longer producing stem cells any longer. And hence one reason why we begin to age. Once our stem cells are no longer active in our body, then there's nothing to help repair it. There's nothing to keep the skin, the elasticity of the skin to be there, and therefore we begin to wrinkle, we begin to get older, our organs begin to fail, etc. So in reality, you really, you could go with Alvida only if you wanted. You could do the patch, you could do just the cream, but I think that you really want to add both the X39 with Alvida. And I have seen the before and after pictures of Shannon and Todd. In fact, they're going to be on with us on John's show on Tuesday morning. Todd and Shannon will be joining us once again. And Shannon, she's not that old. I think she's like 55 years old. She's a grandmother, and Shannon just looks like the bliss of youth. My wife also very much never really aged that much, very much in life. But Shannon, I thought she was kind of like my wife, just was a woman that didn't age very much, always looked very young, very youthful. And then she shared with us her before photo, and I was blown away. It was like night and day. I mean, she really had aged beforehand. And so I only knew her, after coming into Lifewave, but she'd always talk about, besides X39 stimulating her stem cells and her stem cells helping her body deal with fibromyalgia and other things like that, she began to talk about her hair getting more full, her face, her skin become more clear, and hair color even restoring. And I'm like, right. You look at this lady and she just looks young naturally. No, she definitely had a major transformation. Same thing with Mia. And even my own wife there, because of what she'd went through in life with her father passing, and under the circumstances, she began to age very rapidly as well, suddenly in her early 50s. But when she started the X39, and my wife used Alvida as well, her skin began to clear back up. She began to get more vibrant, looking much better. And there's not a wrinkle on her forehead anywhere now. So, so it definitely does work. And the studies that, David Schmidt does here are just really incredible for this. let me take John, we'll go to, and you can interrupt me anytime, John. I'm kind
Well,
of.
I have a quick comment. What he mentioned, the pinch test, that's done all over the country and probably all the world by paramedics when they respond to a case if it's not if it's not a heart attack. They do the pinch test routinely to determine if a person is hydrated or dehydrated. That's a standard procedure for all paramedics everywhere.
Excellent, and that is very true. One thing, if you're new, if you've come in here for this is your first time here with us, this website right here is part of what we call our team website. So there's nobody's link in here on ordering products or anything. It's just a website with incredible information. What I like about it, right at the top, front and center, patents and studies. That's what I'm into, the science and the research behind all the different products that we have out there. Let's see here, the X39, you can learn more about that. It's just a good website if you really want to know about the products that we have here. It's a great place to go and to do that research in. And then of
What
course,
is that website, Steve?
this is itinfo.com. This is itinfo.com.
This is it. This is it info?
Yes.
Okay.
.com. And on just at the top right, we have testimonials. So, and you can just see all the different titles in here, hair improvement, because we are talking about skin and things like that. Let's look at this one here, skin issues. Whoops, sorry, file not found. That wasn't good to hit that one, was it? Let's try it again. So, let's see. Hopefully there's not a goof up. Let me go back up here to the one up here, hair improvement, and see if that one. Okay, there we go. They may have not have added one yet then. And you can click, let's just try one right here. That's blood sugar, sorry, hang on, that's what it says on that. But let me see, sleep, joint, well, it said hair improvement. Oh, maybe it's just in there somewhere along with it is what it is. Let's try it.
Stephen Gina's door, and that's how it impacted my life at that moment. I knew I needed to get started, so I got started right away on the diamond pack, and I
don't want to go into that right now. I was trying to mainly just look for testimonials, but I do know if you take the time, you go through there are a lot of different testimonies on there. Also on we've created a YouTube channel called Banoon X39, and with ours, we do have also testimonials up there, and particularly one that we have is with, let me just see, I've got that one up here real quick. We do have, I got to click on, that's what it is. It's not just that, it's the channel you got to go to. There we go. But we actually, here we go, testimonials of Lifewave. And we actually, and one of our testimonials that we have is this one right here, I believe. Let's see.
I've noticed it.
better and better.
Now, this lady right here, Rosa, she's not a brand partner or anything. She's a widow lady, so we've actually helped sponsor her so that she could actually get the benefit from the patch. What you're seeing on your screen, of course, you see her here. Rosa was missing most of her hair altogether. Just listen to what she says here, though, just briefly.
Time goes by. I had tremendous pains in my legs that I could hardly walk. I even got a plaque for a disability. But after taking the patches, the X39, the pain has gone away. I can walk, and my diabetes numbers have gone down somewhat, and my hair has grown. As you can see, it's bushy. I was losing a lot of hair, and I had a lot of bald spots. but since using X39, my hair has grown. And
There you go, right there, John. That's, to me, that's amazing in itself.
It is, it is.
You know, now, here's a funny thing. And this is something that Yana pointed out to me. She said, women balding and men balding is caused from two different issues altogether. And she said women seem to have a very good success with regrowing their hair as a result. She said, but for some reason with men, it's not a matter of your stem cells recreating that. They just normally won't do that anyway. So that was something that I did not know, that that's more in tune for women on that issue than it is for men. But you know, going back to this website here, though, the science and the research, the things like that. Also, too, on the homepage, there are two short videos here. What is phototherapy? And then David Schmidt. Both of these are very, very short videos, under 2 minutes. And it's a good way just to kind of get a basic idea of how everything actually works. And but the skincare products and stuff, that is something that, you know, whether you're using the cream, whether you're using the patch, the Alvida patch, is just remarkable. But there's one other one, John, that kind of caught me by surprise. And I'm going to pull up the study. That's right. Oh, it's actually right here. I didn't know I had it up. Lifewave, their energy enhancer patch. And this is the webinar that David did on this. And I thought the energy enhancer, because it was developed for the Navy SEALs, for them to be able to withstand 48 hours in a submarine underwater doing their secret missions, and they wanted the government wanted them to be able to go without using drugs, any stimulants in the body, and yet still be able to do that. Well, the energy enhancer patch is what David developed for that purpose there. And that particular patch, though, when I watched this webinar about it, it really caught me by surprise on a couple of issues. And again, these are things that women tend to really appreciate or are looking for in the benefits. Is one, that patch uses the body's fat in order to create that energy. So when you are wearing that patch, and I'm going to switch over real quick so I can show you. When you're wearing the energy patch there, take off my watch here. There's two patches. I have one on this wrist, which is brown, and it's got to be 3 fingers back from the joint is where you place it. And then on the right side, there is the other one. Positive and negative feeds to these patches here, but they don't just create energy. But like I said, one, they use your body fat, and you burn about 500 more calories a day as a result when you're wearing them. It's a very subtle energy, but it also, it opens up the meridians within the body. So it allows the flow of energy to go through your body. So you're burning fat, you're getting a better flow of energy. And at a cellular level, it helps the body to manufacture what is called NAD. Now, I'm going to show you what NAD is here, so you'll understand that better. There are a lot of people that actually know about NAD because it is considered a longevity type of treatment that people can get. And a lot of people pay very decent amount of money in order to actually get the benefit of NAD through an IV drip. And so that is very common. It's called NAD IV therapy. And this, let's here, we go right here. This is one such clinic. And let me get back to where I get us on our Zoom where you guys can see this. Again, the reason I'm bringing this up because it has to do with aging and helping us, which I'm not worried about, I'm more like John, you know, I'm not worried if I get older looking myself, although he's on the quest of having to do the enhancements too now. But anyway, NAD, and niacin, I forget the actual right words for that name of that stuff there. I'm going to play just a short clip of this particular practitioner that does NAD therapy in an IV clinic. But NAD is in your cells. And when your body has an increase NAD in the cellular level there, it creates longevity, it creates youngness, it brings back elasticity to the skin as well. And David, when they did the studies, that's what the energy enhancer patch does. It helps the body to produce NAD at the cellular level. And this therapy, John, this stuff normally runs anywhere from $250 upwards to $1,000 a treatment to have this done. I always had to
Really?
do the lower one because I didn't have the money for the expensive one. And I didn't do it though for the aging, I did it for memory. NAD is amazing to enhance memory, cognitive function, etc. I'll play just a little 30-second clip of this lady right here talking about it, Miss Copland.
Center for Integrative Medicine. A few weeks ago, I told you about an exciting new therapy we have implemented at Kaplan Center, and that is NAD infusions. Today, I want to tell you about the benefits and what our patients are saying. Our patients who have received NAD therapy notice that they have better sleep, improved mental clarity, productivity, mood, and they have less pain and fatigue. As a lifelong athlete, I was curious how NAD therapy would help with muscle recovery. I enjoy high-intensity interval training and Olympic powerlifting, but I'm often hindered by delayed onset muscle soreness. After receiving NAD therapy, I noticed there's a definite improvement in endurance, strength, stamina, and muscle recovery. For any type of athlete, this means better cardiovascular conditioning, an increase in lean muscle mass, and a decreased percentage of total body fat, which all translates to better health. Just to recap, NAD.
All right, so that's what NAD is doing there. And the odd thing is as they're doing like that, we actually have a patch that, if I'm not mistaken, John, the energy enhancer is not as expensive as as your X39 or X49. These are much, and same thing with that Alvida for skincare. Those also, basically, if you came in, for example, and you were ordering this product, and let's say you did it at a distributor level, you can get both of those for the price of one X39 monthly use there. And of course, they'll last longer than that because you don't wear Alvida every single night, which, by the way, the Alvida patch or the Alvida cream, either one, I know that they would recommend you do them in concert together, wearing the patch for the stimulation of that particular type of peptide that helps give more elasticity to the skin, and as well as the cream. But my wife always wears hers at night. There's something about it, she's never really explained to me what that is, but there's a reason for that it actually works better when you wear it at nighttime. But there again, we're finding that the energy enhancer also has part of that. And David, when he does the webinar on that and explaining how this patch actually works in the case studies, he did talk about mood enhancement, clarity. People get more clarity, and I can attest to that one when it comes to that energy patch. I started wearing it because I was feeling fatigued a lot, and so I figured, okay, I'm going to give it a try because caffeine pills all the time are just not what I need to be doing right now. And I really noticed steady. I wouldn't get tired. I didn't want to go have to take a nap and stuff like that, and even like when I get under a lot of pressure, like I'd have to run a mining operation in Florida. I've got to drive all the way down there, work all day, then drive back home up here to Tennessee, sleep 2 or 3 hours, back up again at 0500, and I'm right back the whole day again, no problem. And I noticed as long as I'm using that energy patch, you have no problem doing that. It literally is like the Navy SEALs. If you got to be up 48 hours without sleeping, yeah, you could do it. No problem. And you won't be tired. When you take it off, it'll stop immediately. But going back, anything with the skincare though, I really feel that the X39 is, it is, David said, that's your master patch. In fact, when you look at these different webinars that he does and talks about the case studies, he always links the two together. So let's say, for example, you're interested in Lifewave for the skincare products, you know, of course, you don't have to do the other ones if you don't want. You can just order the Alvida if you want to do the skincare. But one thing's for sure, if you get the X39, you'll never regret it, because you could have things going on in your body that you don't even realize. And the next thing you know, something you thought was not that big of a deal, but suddenly it resolves. I know with the X39, I've had a lot of people tell me about having aging spots, things like that on their skin. And they started wearing X39 and then not Alvida, just the X39. Then the aging spots left them after about 2 months. They started noticing they were all gone. Another one is scars. We're seeing that people that have scars and stuff, the scars are just disappearing. I've actually had 3 scars just totally disappear. Scars I've had for probably 15, 20 years at least, max minimum. I've got one set that disappeared that I've had since I was about 8 years old. So that's 50 something years old scar, totally gone now. So it's kind of wild how that X39 actually works and the benefits that you can get from that. So, John, what other things can we talk about?
Well, getting back to the Alvida products, I was going to be looking forward to the Clint Eastwood look, but my wife doesn't think that's the best for me. So I've got the entire Alvida package en route to my home. We're going to take photographs of my face the way it looks right now, and then about once a week, we'll take photographs as I use the Alvida products to see how my face makes progress with the Alvida products, and we'll post those on my website, of course. So it's going to be a fun project, and I'm looking forward to it, Steve.
Well, I think you look fairly young as it is. You've never really aged that rapidly to begin with either, John. You've done pretty good for a guy past 25 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. I'll be 77 years old in August, and it's age is a hard thing to get a handle on because it keeps changing. I had a quick story. I was in college. I was probably 23 years old, and the instructor was late for the class. It was a Friday morning, so I'm standing in the hallway, and there's an 18-year-old co-ed, and I were talking, and I mentioned my activities for the weekend, how I was taking my girlfriend to a lake. I was going scuba diving and spearfishing and camping. And she looks at me just as serious as can be, and she says the following, Steve: "You mean you can still have fun?" So I was about ready to smack her one. But in the opinion of that 18-year-old co-ed, the 23-year-old could no longer have fun because they were too old.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I know. It's so I'm still I like to compete in track competition. My event is the 100-meter dash, which used to be the 100-yard dash. The 100-meter dash is about 10 yards longer than the 100-yard dash. And I'll be training for that this spring and competing this summer, and looking forward to the X39 patch helping me to achieve that goal of being competitive in the 100-meter dash.
Speaking of that, John, because I noticed that they like that lady was talking about NAD and recovery. X49, the X39, X49, they both stimulate copper peptides, but they stimulate a different set of copper peptides than the other. And X49 was specifically designed for recovery, stamina, workout recovery, that type thing there. And one thing that I noticed with that, because I don't know exactly when it happened, but before I hit 60, I realized that I was starting to struggle, not struggle with strength. I still had the strength that I wanted, but it's just like if I worked out, I didn't feel like my arms were getting any bigger anymore. It's
Right,
almost like
right.
it's like, okay, days of growing muscle is over. And that concerned me. And then I watched one of David Schmidt's in-depth views on the technology behind the X49. And he discussed in there about how that they did their studies in the different case studies all the way up to the men in their mid-70s and women as well that participated in the studies. And it was an overwhelming percentage, not for, I don't want to quote it exactly, but it was very, very high of the people that were over 70 that had a gain of, I don't know, I want to say like 50 something percent in muscle mass as a result of using X49. And, you know, then of course you'd hear about the recovery, your muscles will recover, you wouldn't be so fatigued. Well, then I decided, okay, I had these 25-pound dumbbells sitting on my office floor for about the last 8 years. And I said, or no, I apologize, about 4 years, actually, 4 years. Because I remember I bought them right before I moved to Tennessee. And I wanted to use that to try to get back in shape. And every time I would try to lift them, John, I was struggling to be able to lift those weights. And of course, it didn't do me no good. I couldn't pick them up because it hurt too much for one. Um, and then I decided, I wonder if it's really true. So I put on the X49 and I went into my office, sat down in my chair so I could isolate the arm, and I grabbed the dumbbells and I just started lifting them as if they were almost nothing.
How
And
heavy
I
were these dumbbells, Steve?
25 pounds.
25 pounds each? Okay.
Yep. And
Did you do
so
two at a time or just one at a time?
I was only doing one at the time at
Okay.
that particular point because I like to really isolate the arm to where I don't allow it to do anything else
Right.
except lift on the bicep. And then I did 3 sets of 10. And when I did it with such ease. And then I did the other arm, such ease. And I'm like, there's no way. And then also I noticed my arms after I did this for, you know, several weeks there, you know, doing 3 days a week, I started growing in arm size and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. And then the other thing was recovery. I learned the recovery better though than the dumbbells. I had went in with the business I have in Florida. My dad had collected scrap steel for probably 30 something years, never would take it in because he always said it had to be higher in price or he wouldn't take it in. We were doing what we call prepared steel one day. I had my guys and they were going to load for me, but at the time I couldn't, I had them too busy doing other things, loading trucks and things like that. So I thought, what the heck, I'll go load it myself. I took and I hand loaded. And of course, when you're dealing with steel like that, that's not 25 pounds. A lot of this little small pieces of steel, because when you're dealing with heavy equipment and stuff, a pin itself is going to weigh 100 pounds or
Right.
more.
Right.
So I'm just tossing those up on the trailer. When I got done, John, that afternoon, and I went to the scrap yard, and it's just on a trailer behind my truck, I'd loaded 4,600 and some odd pounds of steel.
All right.
I get home by that evening and I am in so much pain. My whole body hurt. And then I thought to myself, you dummy, why in the world did you ever load that much steel when you haven't done hardly nothing, right? And of course so I put the X49 on, and then they have a patch called Eon. I put that one on because that deals with inflammation. And I remember my aunt, I give it to her and she said it helped her with her arthritis. So I put both of those on that night, went to bed almost crying because of pain. I woke up the next morning, John. I did not have a sore muscle in my body.
All
Nowhere.
right.
So I loaded it and I got to the scrap yard and unloaded it as well. So I ended up doing over 9,000 pounds in one day. So but yeah, it really does work. And then, you know how it is. You get the joint, like you were telling me about your knees. I have noticed too, because I've heard different people say, I know the company tells you like X39, X49, put it on C7 or just below the navel. But I did learn one thing that's true, and I know you do this too, John. I had like in one arm there, I was doing tricep lifting and I guess I'd kind of overdid a little bit and I pulled a muscle or something like that. And so that joint really hurt like heck. So I put the X39 and an X49 patch on that joint that night, went to bed, woke up the next morning and the pain was all gone. And normally, you know how that is, the older we get, that, you know, these things just don't go away easily. You might have it 2 or 3 weeks before it finally resolves itself. So that's the important side about, in my opinion, about wearing or using X39. Even if you're using the skincare products, the Alvida patch or the Alvida cream, that foundational X39 stimulating your stem cells, revitalizing your skin, your organs, etc., is just such an important part of the whole. As far as I would say, is more of a wellness package. If you're really looking at, you know, you're wanting that youthful look. The energy enhancer, you don't necessarily have to have that one. I just think it's really nice because in my case, now I can put it on. I don't have to worry about, because I was getting to where I was doing caffeine constantly. I could drink tea, drink coffee, doesn't matter. It wasn't enough. I would just get too tired too easily. And now I'm not having that. And I'm actually losing weight in my stomach. My wife kept telling me to put the energy enhancers all over my stomach so that would go down. So it it actually doesn't work like that, but it was a nice concept. But the stomach is still going down though, because it is going to burn your body fat in order to be able to create the energy. So you're
And
going
that's
to
the Eon patch
naturally
doing it, Steve, the Eon patch.
Oh, that no, that's the energy enhancer is what burns the fat. Also,
Yeah.
they say X49 burns body fat as well.
Hmm.
I didn't experience the weight loss though with the X49. With the energy enhancer, yes. I've already gone down 2 sizes in my pants as a result of using I mean, my opinion is because the energy enhancer,
Right.
it is burning that many calories. And I'm able to run again too for the first time. Oh gosh, John, I've not been able to run in, I don't know, 6, 7, 8 years.
Really, that's a long time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
mainly because of the spinal injury that I had. I had such a severe spinal injury. It wasn't that I couldn't run. If I did run, the pain was just too enormous. It really, I would be bedridden for running. Now, and same thing with sleep. I could not sleep on my right or my left side in more than 12, 13 years since I've been able to do that. And slowly but surely, as my lower spine has been repairing, thanks to my stem cells being activated, I got to where I could sleep on my right side again, and then finally the left side. And so now I can sleep on either right or left for the first time in all those years. So that's another major benefit that I'm very happy about as well. So, you know, and of course the X39, right now I'm wearing a set of glasses that are literally 200 power less than what I normally wear. I have to wear prescriptions that are 425 left stigmatism, 500 to the right. And I had no idea that my eyesight was going to improve. And next thing I know, I started having a lot of problem with these are not prescriptions here though, but I was having a lot of issues with my prescription. I was having to get just within inches of the screen of the computer, and I'm like, that's not normal. So I took, and then I got to realizing, well, if you got to get closer to the screen, that means your vision is actually improving. So I've looked for some of my old glasses. They were still too strong. And then eventually I found my wife's reading glasses that she got from like Walgreens, and she wore 200s and they were perfect. So yeah, that's why I say all kinds of benefits. We had one lady too, she had thyroid issues and she did not know that her stem cells would repair her thyroid. And the next thing you know, she started having all kinds of weird problems and she thought, well, maybe it's the patch causing it, you know? So what she did is she went to her doctor and he ran some tests and he come back and he said to her, he says, what have you been doing? She says, what do you mean, what have I been doing? She says, I've been doing nothing. And he says, well, your thyroid is actually functioning now. And he said, the reason you're having so many problems is because you're taking medicine for a thyroid that doesn't function, but the thyroid functions, so therefore it's making you feel like you do. So he was able to take her off that medication she was on, and then everything worked out. And she said the only thing it could have been would have been my stem cells activated that repaired the thyroid. So, there's so many amazing things that we see happening, and some people it happens quickly, some people it takes longer. Me, I was one of the long ones there. It took 3 or 4 months before I really began to get the benefit, almost 4 months when it comes to the spine. And it's still got a ways to go, but to be able to sleep like I used to, that's major for me. And to be able to run for the first time in all those years, another major thing as well. So I'm really excited about it. And I know girls out there that are maybe listening or will listen to this later, they would be excited about the skincare products and stuff because of what it does. And, it's amazing. And not only with Shannon and my wife, also with Mia Finnegan, she's one of the first ones, John, I found out about that these patches actually really help skincare. And that was because her and her husband, she's the first woman Olympian to win the woman Olympian in the United States, like Arnold Schwarzenegger did for the men. In fact, she actually trained him, was a trainer for him. And I was going to interview her and her husband, Richard Finnegan. And when I did, they had, I did some research because I knew they were both celebrities. And I'm watching this video of her in an interview. And it was probably 3 or 4 months before I brought her in an interview. And when she came on my broadcast, it was like night and day. I'm like, that doesn't look like the same lady that I just watched in the interview. So after we did the interview, I go back. It was that drastic of a change, so drastic that I went back and looked at the date of the interview she was in when I had the one that I'd watched about her to learn about her. I mean, there were other ones when she's young too, but I was looking more current events of what she might be speaking about. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding. And I actually did a screen capture of that interview, a screen capture of the interview that she was in with me. I had my wife come in. I said, look at this. And she looked at that and she goes, oh my gosh. She says, what a difference. I'm like, right? I mean, I said, you can, in the other interview, she's wrinkling around her lips. She's got typical wrinkles on the forehead, but in the interview I did with her, no wrinkles around the lips, no wrinkles on her forehead. I mean, she literally looked 10 years younger than what she did in the other interview. And yet it was only 4 months apart. And by that time, she'd been using X39 for 9 months. I don't know. I want to say that she uses Alvida as well. I'd have to find out for sure. But, just seeing that was my first realization that the whole product line of Lifewave, which by the way, the entire product line to some degree has been about longevity, our aging process, things like that to begin with. So you find more and more as we look at the studies, practically every one of the patches have something to do with longevity and our aging and being able to I guess you'd say age more gracefully without having all the hiccups along the way. And of course, the testimonies just speak for themselves. It's just more and more people continue to send us information, and we're going to record more interviews with people and share that with people. So I'm going to put in the little chat box here for you guys that are listening, though, the YouTube channel that we have here, just so that you can, wrong page there. Just so that way, if you happen to want to look at some of the videos that we're posting on there, you can. And but always remember, if you are interested in any of the Lifewave products, you can contact John. John can easily, if you need help with it or you want questions answered, things like that, which we can take questions even tonight here, but John can also link you up with us. We can walk you through whatever, but the important thing is knowing John's distributor number so that whatever you want to get, you'd be able to do that right through John himself there. Let me find the chat part here. Here we go. So there we go. That's our YouTube channel there, and we post a lot of our Zoom meetings over there. We also post where we've done other videos, me and my wife talking more about the different products that we have, testimonials, and some of those testimonials are absolutely amazing as well. So if anybody's got any questions, please feel free. You can, you don't have to worry about raising a hand. You could just unmute yourself and ask away if there's anything I could do to answer your questions.
It takes people a while to think about the question before they speak up, and we'd
Yeah,
be glad to
Giza's
have
trying to
questions from always.
unmute, right? She's trying to unmute her, I say her, he, whichever it may be, their audio, at least they're trying to.
Hello?
Go ahead, Brian.
Okay, thanks, Steve. All right, yeah, I'm interested in the energy and I guess the X39. Those are two separate, right?
Yes.
Two
Yes,
separate.
they are.
Okay.
They are, Brian.
All right. So, okay, when I purchased this package, I believe you mentioned the gold. That's fine, and I can select those two items as part of that. That way it works.
Yeah, I'm going to pull up John's site. I want to show you guys. That's if you're wanting to be a distributor, which you get a discount by being a distributor. And there's no requirements that you have to sell a certain amount or anything like that. You can just get the benefit of being a distributor, period, like that. And but the thing is, and let me get right here on John's site here. I want to share the screen with you guys so you can see what I'm going to do here. If you go to thelibertyman.com and we get on,
got his website.
Okay, great. All right, I'm going to share the screen so you can see what I'm doing here. I went to John's website just now. I clicked on that, and
Yep.
the nice thing is, if you're going to do it, you have the choice. You can just become a preferred customer, and as long as you're a preferred customer on auto ship, you will automatically get the discount as well. But you have to be on auto ship to save the money, and that's like $50 a month on X39. But let's say you want to do it as a distributor, because let's say you might share it down the road. I'm on John's site, lifewave.com/John Moore 123. That's his actual website. And when I click on there, and like you mentioned the gold package, that's, even though it's $500, that's a one-time price. You're not going to pay that every month. You don't pay it annually. That's just one time only.
Right.
Sometimes I recommend that for people for the purpose of, maybe in your case, Brian, maybe you want to share some with your mom, your dad. You'll have different issues that you really want to have a little bit more product at your disposal. And the company already puts 5 X39 patches, as you can see on the screen. I'm going to make that a little bit bigger so I know you guys can see that okay. So they put 5 X39s and 1 Alvida patch already in there. You can literally go in there and just click the X and get rid of all those X39s. Click the X for the Alvida. The enrollment sales aids, that's just free. Don't worry about that. But then to your left where it says patches, you can click on that plus. That's going to show you all the company patches that we have available. Now, by
Okay.
the way, if you're some other country, before I get away from this, let's say you're in Canada and you listen to John. Right there where it says United States, if you hover over that, whatever country you're in, you first click the country you're in, then go through that process. Okay, that's important to know because I'm sure John's probably got some Canadian listeners as well. Anyway, so when you're over here, and Brian, like you said, you were talking about X39 and the energy enhancer. Go down to the bottom, you got the X39. Let's say you wanted two X39s, one for you, and I'm going to click on it twice, one for your wife, maybe the third one, say one for your dad. Let's say that's the people you have need of. As you're clicking on that on the bottom of the screen, let's see. Yeah, I'm going to have to make that small again. Right. On the bottom of the screen, there's going to be a line, and it may be covered up with this here. Let's see. Accept all. There we go. Have to accept the cookies to see it. You see how it turns yellow there? That's as I'm adding things to the cart, that line is turning yellow until I've got the cart full. Now, if you remember, we had on this cart, we had 5 X39s, but most people are not gonna need 5 X39s in the first place if they're ordering it that way. But let's say like I did 3, and so I already got 3 over there. But the energy enhancer, I add an energy enhancer on there. Now that pops in there. It's still yellow, so I can still add more. Let's say you want to get an X49, for example. The thing I'm wanting to show you here is that X39, X49, they are $99, I think $99.95, something like that a month, right? But these other patches, like the Alvida, when you're doing it in a kit like this, they're like 50 bucks. They're cheaper than you could ever order it any other way. So let's say I did an Alvida as well. I've got the energy enhancer that you were talking about there. And I will tell you, and I'm not saying this to sell anything to anybody that's listening. I'm going to tell you something, though, that's really important. Glutathione and carnosine, these two patches here. Glutathione it doesn't put glutathione in you, just like carnosine is not putting carnosine in you. Your body, because of the light therapy, it causes your body to produce it because it's already in you. You're just for some reason, we got cut off on how it gets produced. But glutathione, for example, people that suffer with Alzheimer's, things like that, or no, Parkinson's, that's the one, Parkinson's, where they get that bad shakes and stuff. There is a doctor that, in fact, I forget the doctor's name, but he's a good friend of my own doctor and down in Orlando. He was the one that discovered high doses of intravenous glutathione causes the people with Parkinson's to stop shaking and stop stuttering in their speech when they do it. Also, this glutathione, if you're sick, and my aunt who's 72 that had the dementia, that got her dementia reversed because of the stem cells X39, she was getting sick a lot, even though the stem cells were working for the other issues. So I sent her some glutathione patches. And when she started taking the glutathione, I called her up next day. She goes, "You have got to be kidding me." And I'm like, "Kidding you about what?" She said, "That stuff just knocked out that sore throat like it was nothing." And it is true. You will find, especially if you do a lot of vitamin C with it and use that glutathione patch, you'll feel amazing. Now, if you'll notice, my line did turn green. So I've actually filled the cart, but let me see what we put in the cart as a result. We've got 3 X39. We've got 1 X49. So that's 4 patches there. And then we got 3 different ones of the other ones. A total of 7 patches versus 6. And that's exactly the way it worked out. It's because those other ones are cheaper. You normally get a little bit more if you drop one of those types there. But anyway, then you could check out, and that's all you'd have to do.
Quick question. So you've got 3 of the X3. Is that 3 months? Is that a 3-month supply that you're?
Yes, that is a 3-month supply. Because in every one of the patches, they say 3 months. But Brian, I'll tell you though, like in the case of let's say carnosine or glutathione patches, if you used either one of those, even with the Alvida, you don't wear those every day anyway. Glutathione, for example, even if you wore it consistently because you're using it for detoxing the liver, which by the way, glutathione detoxes the liver, you don't want to, David will tell you not to wear it more than 3 days a week. Because it produces that much glutathione in the body, and you don't want to have the detox effect. I mean, all the patches do have some detoxing ability regardless because of the way they work. So if you're using more than one patch, for example, if you get X39 and X49 and say cornicine, which that trio is really good for people with dementia, you still don't want to use it to where you start one, wait a couple of days, then start the other, wait a couple of days, and then start the third one. That way you don't cause your body to get a heavy detox effect all at once. Now, the nice thing is, if you get the detox effect, as soon as you stop a patch, you pull the patch off, within seconds, it's no longer, nothing is happening. The light wave is not stimulating anything in the body. And within minutes, whatever effect that you might have from detox goes away immediately.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Steve.
You're very
Thanks for the
welcome.
call, Brian. We appreciate it. And if somebody else has a call, just get right in here. Call or question, comment. Okay, looks like we've got Giza, we got Sherry, we got Barbara. And
Giza's tried several times. Let me just see. Giza, if you want, if you do have a question and you can't connect with the audio, if you want to just type in the question in the comments there, I can do my best to answer it that way, because I do have it open where I can see that.
well, must be doing a good job if we've answered everybody's questions. They don't have any questions there, Steve.
That's okay, John. That's okay.
It is
The
okay.
nice thing is though, is we were able to jump into into your website to show how the sign up process works there, John. I think that was good too. And I'm glad Brian brought up the questions he did. So give us a chance to show people just how that works there. And then I tell you what I'll do too, real quick, just before we close out then, is let me go back to your site, John. I want to just show, but let's say somebody's just here that's just only ordering, that wants to order the product. Let me jump back over there. Let's back out like we're going just back to just when they first click. If you went, let me do it. I'll do it like this the right way. If you go to the libertyman.com, John's website, which you guys are familiar with, you scroll right down here to the Lifewave. You go to learn more. When you click on that, that's going to take you to John's website. Okay. Once you're on his website, if you're just wanting to shop, there you go. You just click right there on shop. You can see everything already pops up. You see the different things that are offered, the YH product line, aromatherapy, Icewave. Icewave, by the way, is for pain, energy enhancer. Silent Nights, that one works really, really well too. The Silent Night patch actually causes your body to produce melatonin without taking melatonin. So everything that your body produces is pure. And when we're taking supplements, we're taking synthetic, we're taking things that are not pure. SP6 Complete is for hormone balance. It's really great for women that really need the help in those areas there. But anything you were to click on, let's say you just click on the promotions, for example, that's probably one of the best things you can do. You can get, like in this case here, they're doing a promotion on the X39, X49 if you do it as a dual. If you pay retail price, in other words, you're just going to order it one time, you're going to pay $279.95. If you put it on auto ship, and by the way, the studies they've done on X49, 6 months, they see people with totally rebuilt cardiovascular. But let's say you decide you want to get this right here. You're going to add it to the cart. This is, as soon as you do that, the next page, this is where you can become either the guest buying it one time at a retail price. You can do the middle one there, the preferred customer, which gives you the discount that they showed you on the screen. And then they have this PC Plus program. That's for a person that wants that discount, and at the same time, they want to earn points that goes towards their purchases because they're going to share it with other people. So the company is still going to give you a website as well. And that's generally really good, John, for people that are on Social Security, disabilities, people that don't want to lose the perks that they have that they've earned as they've gotten older in life. But they would like to be able to, kind of benefit too from the fact that, they got some friends they want to share it with, and they would like maybe to at least pay for their own products. Well, that's kind of what that does there. You pay an annual fee of $19.95, then you get the discount, and at the same time, the company is going to let you earn points towards your purchases as you share it with other people. So that's how that works, and you would just click whichever one you want to do, whichever fits you best, and you're in the game. So
Pretty simple,
anyway,
isn't it? Yep.
very, very simple. And by the way, if you're on auto ship, easiest thing to ever cancel. It's so simple to just go in there, and I don't have it in front of me right now, but I did one time out of curiosity. I just looked in there about canceling on something just to see how easy it was. And sure enough, just plain as day, boom, there it pops up, cancel auto ship. You still have your site there if you have your own little portal and stuff where you can reorder your stuff if you decide to order it later, or if you decide to restart your auto ship later. So, and the company also, for a preferred customer, I think you've got a 3-day or 90-day money back guarantee. And if you're a distributor, it's a 30-day money back guarantee. Either way, the company will stand behind their products. And we've seen too where people, they had trouble, something didn't get delivered, and they called the company, I never received it. The company they either reimburse the money or they send the product to you again. So they're very good about standing behind their products, and we appreciate that.
That means a world of difference when a company stands behind their products with a money back guarantee.
It does. And John, I know you're the same way on your own products that you sponsor on your program as well. And so people need to know that the company will stand behind their products. So that's what I appreciate. But I don't know about you, but I'm not going to ever turn my back in for the money back at all. I will tell you one thing though. One thing I've learned, or two things I want to share before we close. Don't let the cat or the dog sleep on your patches. They are activated from the body heat within our own bodies. And if our body heat is up against the package, even though they're in a very thick package, you can cause them to activate prematurely. And they do have a life shelf once they're activated. So you got to keep that in mind. Don't let the cat and dog sleep on your patches. So the other thing is that, oh gosh, what was I going to say to the other thing there? I forgot what the other thing was I wanted to share.
Well,
with
let's
people.
keep these away from Joe Biden. We want him to continue to be incompetent so he doesn't get reelected.
Oh gosh, it's so funny, John, because every person I know of that has had one of those types of issues that have started this have all improved. That in itself is a godsend. I can't. I'm going to be doing a video when I go back to Florida with my aunt, and I told her too, because I have a before picture of her. She aged a lot, a whole lot in her early 70s, much more than I ever anticipated. But I know she had a very hard life. And so I'm looking forward to getting because I figure it's about 8 to 9 months when you really start seeing that change in the skin and stuff like that. And she's a celebrity in her own right. She was the last almost victim of Ted Bundy.
Really?
Yes.
That's scary.
My grandfather, who was a military guy at the time, retired from the Navy. He had to face my grandfather, which was not a very happy camper when he come calling, trying to get my aunt out of the backyard. And then the investigating officer, Norman Chapman, was my instructor in rookie school years ago. And my uncle was one of the detectives also on the Bundy case as well. So
a lot of connections to the Bundy case.
I mean, to tell you, it's especially when it happens in Pensacola, Florida.
Yep,
anyway, thank you, John. So exciting.
Well, thank you, Steve, for putting this together. We really appreciate it.
very welcome, and we'll do it anytime. And by the way, any of you guys that are listening tonight, if you've already signed up with John Brian, like yourself, I know you're looking at getting started. If you get to the place where you're wanting to share it with other people, you know, let me put my phone number here for you in the chat there. Just always remind me that you're with John. That's very important to do, because I do get a lot of phone calls, things like that, or text. You're welcome to text me. I'll help you. I say text me first. That way I can schedule a time to talk with you. But if you want to share it with someone and you need help with doing that, I am there for you 100%, because, you know, if you decide you want to do that as a business, I want to help you to be successful with this. So
Well, thank you, Steve, once again. Appreciate it.
thank you, John. You guys have a great
Thanks.
night. We'll talk to y'all soon.
Good night, everyone.